And today we have a special guest joining us, Katja Kempe, the visionary CEO and founder of Viveka. So let me ask you this, as a leader in human capital technology space, how do you stay ahead of industry trends and ensure Viveka remains innovative?
I mean, we're in the business of continuous learning, so we kind of lead by example by staying on top of education trends, industry reports, Gartner, Deloitte. We have some really great strategic partnerships. We've got a partnership with Deloitte, with SHL, Tata Consulting Services.
Over 6.5 years of experience in building and scaling a global business, what are the most important lessons that you've learned?
I'd say seek help. Never be too proud to admit you require help. And
so how do you approach scaling a company while still maintaining a strong company culture and employee satisfaction?
You need to practice what you preach. We're living in a decentralized workplace right now. It's changed. You need to give liberty to your employees, to your workforce, and trust that they...
Welcome to Leadership Talks podcast, where we explore the art of leadership and the strategies that drive success in today's dynamic business world. I'm your host, Martin Rovinsky, CEO of Boardseye, and today we have a special guest joining us, Katja Kempe, the visionary CEO and founder of Viveka. Katja is dedicated to transforming organizational performance through innovative coaching and professional development, creating an impressive 8 times ROI for her clients. With a wealth of experience in building and scaling global businesses, Katja is a recognized leader in human capital technology, empowering employees to work and live better. Join us as we delve into her insights on enhancing productivity, retaining top talent. Stay tuned for an inspiring conversation that promises to boost engagement and increase retention across your organization. Katja, welcome.
Thank you so much, Martin, for having me here. I'm thrilled to be here.
I am excited too. Now, me and you go back a long way. Began as a relationship with Boardseye and just been staying in touch with you over time, and very impressed with what you're doing and continue striving for success. And Viveka is just growing. So I am super impressed with that. Good job.
Thank you. Likewise, Martin. It's been a great journey together.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. As a leader in human capital technology space, how do you stay ahead of industry trends and ensure Viveka remains innovative?
Yeah, good question. Most importantly, we're in the business of continuous learning. So we kind of lead by example by staying on top of education trends, industry reports, Gartner, Deloitte, Josh Burston. There's some great expertise out there. Attending conferences, of course, networking with others. You can never just put your head down and forget about the environment. You have to be out there. And most importantly, Martin, learning from clients. So listening, being humble enough to adapt and adjust and really hearing what they need. And then having the drive to develop new features and enhancements in-house. So that's been a key for us. And then, of course, we've had some really great strategic partnerships. We've got a partnership with Deloitte, with SHL, Tata Consulting Services, and they're always on the brink and cutting edge of innovative solutions and help us to stay on mark and on point as well. And then I guess another point is just embrace technology. Nowadays, the worst thing that anyone can do is become a dinosaur and not want to embrace AI or embrace machine learning and Internet of Things. The wagon's moving and it's the direction we're headed. So we might as well utilize these technologies as an application for good and in our own businesses.
That is so on point. So glad to hear you say it. Can you share a time when you faced a significant challenge in your leadership journey and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, sure. So a significant leadership challenge was probably let's just go with this one when we pivoted from our B2C to B2B solution. So initially, when Viveka was founded, we had a smaller team and we had a B2C solution. It was a market for individual coaches to be found and placed, and both organizations and individuals could purchase our coaches. But it was a very simple solution, and we did not have an enterprise solution in place. And it became clear over time, listening to not only our coach needs for wanting a pipeline, a steady pipeline, but also automating their business, and then listening to companies, and together with my experience in I've had the pleasure to work as a leader in the legal industry for quite some time as COO of one of the world's largest law firms, and working on global strategy and managing complex operations gave me a front row seat to see the challenges of leadership and talent development and organizational growth. So it became more and more apparent that we needed to pivot to a B2B solution, and because it was a gap in the market, it was what clients need. And from an internal perspective, we needed to avoid marketplace churn as well as leakage, and wanted to make sure that we have a protected environment for corporations to optimize and utilize our coaches, and then have a fostering and supportive environment for the coaches within it as well. So that, I guess the solution was obviously to have clear decision making, get the team on board, then we had to stay adaptable and resilient throughout it all. And now we have obviously a B2B solution, enterprise solution in place that's a scalable solution, a global solution. We have amazing strategic partners that we have alignment with, Deloitte and SHL. And we also allow to white label. And so that all came from, yes, client listening, as well as staying adaptable and having the courage to be bold and humble to pivot when necessary.
Well, speaking of bold and humble, you're definitely throughout your career been bold and humble. You've been Female Entrepreneur of the Year. I think that was in 2018. You were featured on Yahoo Finance also. I think that was a couple years after that. But before being featured, and I know you've done some traveling, including international, tell us a little bit about your personal journey. Like, just what drove you to Viveka before you obviously started that?
Oh, great question. It's been a combination. I guess Steve Jobs always says connecting the dots hindsight. And that's definitely been the journey for me as to how it all unfolded. And you just got to trust the journey and follow your heart, and know that it already knows where you want to go. So for me, I've always been passionate about personal development, professional development, human potential, and learning and transformational learning particularly is such a great catalyst for that. And so that has always been my personal passion. I've been a coach and received coaching since I'm in my late teens, early 20s, and continued throughout and catapulted my career journey. Actually, I was one of the law firm's youngest female CRO, and had the privilege to oversee 4 offices in my early 30s in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and also Tokyo. And all of these insights, though, gave me such a front row seat into the organizational challenge that we're facing when it comes to leadership development, employee engagement, keeping that position as being an employer of choice. And so I really identified that there was a market need and a gap in the market for a solution like Viveka. And then ultimately, my experience is also we facilitated one of the world's largest mergers still in the legal industry to date, and all the organizational change management pointed to the dire need of a solution where employees can not only be identified who are the high potentials, who need to be fostered in your company environment, and do it in an efficient way. Because at the end of the year, when there were educational points necessary to uphold certain licenses in the professional industry, that's quite common. There was always scrambling, and there was no automated processes in place or notifications for our lawyers. So just to simplify the process, the need became really apparent. And I guess, Simon Sinek or the big why or the Ikigai principle is always identified about what are you passionate about, what does your experience lend to, and what does the world need? And so I guess that's how Viveka was birthed and created.
That's awesome. And speaking of now, Viveka, over 6.5 years of experience in building and scaling a global business, what are the most important lessons that you've learned?
Let's seek
Or do you
help.
know everything already? There's no
No,
lessons.
yeah. I was like, where do I start, Martin? Which lesson
Write a
do I
book.
tell you first? I'd say seek help. Never be too proud to admit you require help. And, if you ask, it shall be given. And you never know what doors will open and what guidance you can receive. People are always willing to support. I think it's just in innate human nature that there's so many great advisors out there, great mentors, great coaches. And for me, I took a spoon of my own medicine and I created an advisory board. I took coaches, I took whatever it was, and just to be able to admit, look, there's room for improvement. We're doing the best we can, and let's be kind to ourselves, believe in our vision, but be resilient and persevere and reach out for help. And I think the one thing that has really helped in attracting the right talent, attracting the right people, is being authentic. Anytime I wanted to, beat my drum louder than I should have, or, wanted to create this bubble of illusion of we're bigger than we are, and it just backfires. So be authentic and is probably a big lesson, and ask for help and accept it.
Yeah, definitely speaking my language. Set the ego aside.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There's, right now there's a lot of talk, or I guess for a while, but always and seems to be really talked about a lot is culture and employee satisfaction. So how do you approach scaling a company while still maintaining a strong company culture and employee satisfaction?
Yeah, I guess, there's a Chinese analogy, the fish smells from the head. And so you need to practice what you preach. So we're living in a decentralized workplace right now. It's changed. You need to give liberty to your employees, to your workforce, and trust that they will deliver the right information, do right by you to your clients. And it starts at the hiring process. You need to hire the right people, and then you need to get out of the way. And I am proud to say in our board meetings, I'm happy to be the dumbest person in the room, because everybody has something to give and has their own expertise, and just appreciation. I think appreciation and trust goes a long way in building and scaling a team and building a company. And of course, it has the caveat that you need to have the right people in place, the personality needs to be right. And I think any skills can be trained and can be grown, but when there's a cultural fit from the work ethics, the morale, the values, when they're aligned, it's easy and fun to scale.
It's awesome. And as a recognized female entrepreneur of the year, what advice would you give aspiring female entrepreneurs?
Never give up. Be resilient. Persevere. there's statistics out there that 90% of startups fail in the first year, or then it goes down to 60, or some say there's whatever the number is. Let's just say there's the scenario is that the chance to success is slim. And you don't know what it is. It's not always a product market fit issue. It could be most of the time it's a founder mismatch or a team mismatch. But at the very top of why people fail is because they give up too early. And there's this beautiful picture that comes to mind. I don't know if you've seen it there's this like little mining person, and you can see from the side aspect, the mountain is cut in half. And so you see this person chipping away and mining, and they want to give up. But you can see that they're like this far from the gold mine. And you never know which door, which person, which client is just going to unfold in which conversation. And so I think perseverance, and if it's something that truly feels aligned, actually, before you persevere, make sure it's truly aligned. And if it's truly aligned, you can't fail. You cannot fail. If you persevere with something that's truly in alignment with yourself, then you will not fail.
Well, you're an excellent example of being perseverant and steering the ship. So keep doing it. Speaking of being a CEO, how do you balance the demands of being a CEO and your personal life? And what practices do you find most effective for maintaining a well-being? And I know you do a good job at it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well-being. So personally, I have a morning practice. I mean, everything is about frequency and getting in the right frequency. Success as a frequency. Culture, that the culture that you want to breathe into your company has a certain vibration, and so attuning to that in the morning, and it really helps you avoid missteps throughout the day. And if you can have the discipline to set yourself up for success, meditation is my go-to, journaling, beach walks. Everybody has their happy place. I'm a water baby, so I love going to the beach and just seeing the sunrise, sunset. There's nature has its ways to truly make sure you're in alignment. And most often we wake up, we grab our phones, we don't have a mindfulness practice in place, and so we're a victim to the circumstances of life rather than being the creator that we are here to be. And so if we can get connected to ourselves and understand that we're creating our reality, then that's what I'd like to do in the morning to make sure that work-life balance and stays intact.
So speaking of balance in personal life and having fun, where was the last trip you took and where were you?
The last trip I went to?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm living in California, and so this is actually funny because it's very out of character, Martin. I went camping, but with a G out, so glamping. We'll call it glamping. And I went up to Ocala. It's beautiful up there in nature and in the woods, and they have these amazing springs, natural springs that you can go diving in, and glass bottom boat riding, and just looks like these phenomenal cenotes. But I'll be going to New Orleans. I heard it's pronounced Norlands next weekend. So a good blend
Awesome.
of different activities.
That sounds great. So here's another question. You get a phone call right now and it says a plane is ready, jet, and it's ready, fueled up, ready to go. Have no idea what the destination is. When you get there, you tell the pilot where you want to go. Where are you going?
Ooh, well, the first thing that came to mind is Australia. I obviously, I don't know if you can detect the accent, dear listeners, but that's a home. Well, it has been home for a long time, and I haven't been back for 1.5 years. So I'd really love to. I think that would be my destination.
That's awesome. Where in Australia, by the way?
So Brisbane and Sydney were my two home cities.
Beautiful. Were you born there?
I haven't been.
Born and raised?
Born in Germany, raised in Australia. So,
Wow. Well, international
unphysical
baby.
hybrid, international baby. That's right.
That's awesome. So here's a couple more questions. Favorite food?
Mm. Nothing beats a great steak. If it's done so well with the salt on the outside and really charred on the barbecue, and it's rare in the middle, medium rare plus. And yeah, I gotta say, grass fed, that's favorite food, and a good salad.
That sounds like a good meal. And are you coffee or tea?
Both. Both. Yes, I have these amazing coffee blends actually that are natural, and it has some protein in there, and there's low acidity. So, I'm a gentle coffee drinker, but I enjoy my coffees.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about Viveka. How do people find it? Who should connect? I know it's viveka.world, right?
That's correct. That's correct. We're global, so it's viveka.world. So one point is to go to the website, sign up for our email, subscribe, get in touch. There's a demo button that you can press if you'd like a demo of the platform. If you're and your organization currently has a leadership development requirement, we'd love to just show you, no strings attached, how we can support you. We have 3 big product lines: lead, grow, and retain. And so if there is a leadership problem, we'll solve it. If there's a growth problem, we'll solve it. If there's a retention problem, you've got us in your back store, so we'd love to solve that too for you.
Awesome. And personally for you, how do people find you? How do people connect? How do people ask more questions?
Absolutely. So my email address is katja@viveka.world, or reach out via LinkedIn, Katja Kempe. And otherwise, you might find me in, probably not camping so often, but you'll find me in the neck of woods of Florida or somewhere else in the world. But I'd love to connect. So please reach out.
Awesome. Well, Katja, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. And hopefully everybody will enjoy this as much as I did. So everybody, thank you very much for joining in, for tuning in. Give like, follow, and until the next episode, again, thank you, Katja.
Martin, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. Great to see you again. Take care.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Talks. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful conversations with industry leaders. Your support means a lot to us.